Now listen, y'all not even ready for today's episode. I have two very special guests on. One is Viviana Goodwin, and the next one is Christopher Richie. And y'all, we crack up, we have a good time, and we just enjoy each other. And we talk about what we've experienced during the Black Lives Matter movement, what it's like being black going to a P.W.I, and just being black in America today. So y'all sit back, and you get ready to tune in right now. All right, y'all, welcome back to Talks with Darius. Deon, I have two special guests here today, and they black people, you know what I'm saying? So we finally about to get into this thing, and they're going to introduce themselves right now.
I'm Viviana Goodwin. I am a student at Oklahoma City University. I study music theater and vocal performance. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And a fun fact about me is that I lived in 6 states before I was in high school.
Yo, I'm Chris Richie. I go to Oklahoma City University. I'm a musical theater major from Mobile, Alabama. My fun fact, I can name all the capitals of the 50 states.
Oh, all right. And y'all, we got church in the morning, so we're going to hurry up and do this thing, and then we're going to be out. But to start off, today's topic of this episode is basically going to a P.W.I and being black, and also just being black in America, in the world today. And so to start off, I wanted to talk about just, what is your experience going to OCU and being black?
I'm gonna go first, you want me to?
You go.
Okay. My experience, I'd say it's been pretty unique because I feel like I've been here to watch a lot of the changes. Mm-hmm. And so I will say first coming in, I didn't really see it as a problem just because I was kind of like on the hype of like being in college, being with your friends and stuff like that. But I feel like continuously throughout my freshman year, it kind of showed up that I was black, and there were people that like made sure that I knew that I was, even if they didn't do it on purpose, but they knew, and like they made sure that I knew basically that I was different. And I'd say now I'm a bit more at peace with it, but I will say it was something like that I struggled with a lot freshman year because I was like, okay, that's how people see me. So then how am I supposed to like perform? How am I supposed to do these roles? How am I supposed to sing on stage or be with friends with these people if this is how they see me?
Exactly.
But I feel like now with, just because it's such a big conversation and like being able to actually like kind of be open about it, or be more open, I will say, not fully, but be more open about it and actually like acknowledge it, I feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more at peace, but I will say we still have a long way to go.
Honestly, we really do. Because OCU is barely starting to make the changes that have been needing to be made at the school. And usually, like with the school, a lot of the stuff that happens gets brushed under the rug, and we'll get into more about that in a minute. But let me go ahead and let Chris speak about his experience.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as Viviana. I came into OCU, I was like, okay, I saw all the white people, and I was like, this is just like high school.
I'm dead.
This is just like my church back home. Like my neighborhood is all white people. And then we're like, I don't live with my mom, but I live with a white family, so I'm just there. So, and I transferred schools, private school, and it's just all of these kids, and I'm like, there's like one out of maybe there's like 8 of us, people of color, that were in my grade.
We literally took stock freshman year.
Like, we were just like, I was like, I walked in, I was like, okay, this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I was already used to it. It was like, I didn't even see it at first. I was like, there's no issue. And then, like, when you said, being here for the change, noticing, like, oh my gosh, there was so many things that I was like, oh, that, we can't do that. Or, I know that I'm black, I don't need you to tell me that I'm black. So, kind of going through that and kind of going with Viv, there are people that let you know, like, oh, you're black. And you're like, yeah, I know. And, it's just basically the same thing. Like, I'm happy that we're here and part of we started organizations that are implementing these changes, and we want to make changes, but this should have not been an issue if people like us like would have just started it from the beginning, and like why I don't know why doing this like OCU Care and stuff is not so relevant now, but like there were other people of color that went to the school before us.
Exactly.
You would think they would want to start something like this, but I don't know, maybe they were afraid of being blacklisted or afraid of like the stuff that might come after them. So I don't know, but I'm glad to be here and I'm be a part of the change, and I'm not afraid of what might happen. And
Exactly.
we're here.
No, I feel like we have to just be more fearless and bold with everything that we're doing. I mean, I feel like when I did go speak to some of the deans before, they just still like were like, I mean, you can just see when somebody's being fake smiling in your face, and then they're really not going to do something about it. But now I feel like the more that we push, the more that we ask, it's like we're receiving what we should be.
Yeah, and I also feel like part of it comes. Oh my god. I feel like part of it comes to also just like probably not having that many people there to support you. Because I mean, when we like took stock our freshman year of like, okay, we have this many black people. Okay, let's create our own little group chat. Okay, we're cool, and kind of just acknowledging each other and being there for one another. It was like good, but I know that there were still times that people would make certain remarks or make certain jokes that I'd be like, that's not really funny. Like, that kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
And they would kind of just be like, oh, whatever. But then I go and talk to my sister, or I talk to, like, Chris or anyone else about it, like, that is black. They, like, get it. And they're like, okay, I'm with you. I understand. But it's not something that I could go at the time to that person's face and be like, hey, I don't like that, because then I'm the angry black person, or I'm this, or I'm that.
I'm so tired of being labeled the angry black person.
Oh my God.
But now, because like Black Lives Matter is such a big thing, people are like, oh, I stand with you, I'm here with you, there's this and that. And then there comes like the, okay, are you really there?
Exactly.
Or is this just something hashtag Black Lives Matter in your bio?
Yeah.
Or,
And I know like we were all at home during like the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter thing that happened. So what was it like for y'all? Like, I'll talk about my experience as well, but I want to hear from y'all since I am interviewing y'all.
Well, okay, it was being home. It was very difficult for me being a person of color, being black, because I live with my godparents and they're white, and I really can't get into like why Black Lives Matter to me. I've tried, but they're like, major Republicans and stuff like that, and I feel like I can't be myself around them sometimes. And and I'm like, and I hear what they say. I'm like, okay, but this is how I feel. And we had marches that happened. I wasn't allowed to go. They wouldn't let me. And I was like, okay, but I still support with everything that's happening. And it was difficult because I was like, I can't voice my opinion because I'm going to get into like huge arguments, and there's no one there to help me. And I feel like all my friends that would help me were all here at school. Like the people that we started, were like the 4 black people in our grade, and all like it's crazy. I'm just like, I wish I had some people behind me that way they could be on my side, but I felt like I was just fighting by myself. And that part, at some points I was like, should I even not even worry about it? I almost gave up. I was like, there's no point. But coming back here and like being part of, like I said, CARE and doing all this stuff and talking about diversity, I've got really involved in it, and I feel like I, can trust what I'm like, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's happening, and I don't like this, and I don't like this. I want this to change. I feel more confident in myself. So me being here at school, I can do that more. I can be myself. But back home, total opposite. I just can't.
Wait, can you talk about what CARE is so that they can know about it?
Okay. OCU CARE is, like OCU, Oklahoma City University, and then Creatives for Artistic and Realistic Equity. And it is something that a group of students, were you a part of that original group?
Yes.
Okay. Chris was. I was not. I joined like a bit like later. Honestly, like in the summertime, that's kind of when I joined. But there were like basically a group of students. It started with like 1 or 2 students kind of going to the faculty after one of our shows had been cast last semester, like pre-COVID and everything. And basically just talking, because our director at the time was doing kind of like audition feedback, so you could go into her office and she would kind of just give you feedback on your audition on what she liked, what she didn't like, what you could do better, basically all that. And then one of our students had kind of like brought up to her like, well, you guys tell me that I do good, or we do this, but you do this, but like I hope you know that like after I leave, I'm questioning if I didn't get the role because of my skin color or because of the way I look or whatever it may be. But specifically, I mean skin color. And she is a white woman, so she was kind of like, I had no idea that you felt that way at all. I just thought it was kind of like something you brush off like everyone else, like, oh, just another audition. And so then from there, it led to many different talks with our deans of the music school, and then also like our head professors who kind of help like direct and pick shows, and then began a partnership with Sherry Sanders, who they had already had like a partnership with through the music school. And so it started with her Rock the Audition coalition, and then became OCU CARE. And so we have I want to say 6 different branches now.
Yeah. With the black widow.
We have RED, which is racial and ethnic diversity, DNA, which is disability, neurodivergence, and accessibility, QI, which is LGBTQIA plus branch, inclusivity, and thank you, body empowerment, which got added last semester, and mental health and wellness. Is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. I apologize in advance if we left something off. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We've had like different town halls, invited different artists, basically just to kind of like talk about these issues, and yeah.
It's just so good to see like the change and the growth that the school is having, just because people are stepping up and wanting to see the change in themselves and in their surroundings. And it's nice to have allies supporting us as well, like true allies.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your experience like through it?
Well, my experience was a little different because like my family is black. Like I stay with my dad in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, and my mom is in Baltimore, Maryland, but like we used to like talk on the phone and things like that. But a lot of my family is in Tulsa. And so I was able to have like different conversations with my dad, but not necessarily in depth, because I found myself really just closing myself off because I had kind of like grown up and seen being black as like a constant disadvantage and something like holding me back and something to like hide and try and like put away as much as possible. Like still have it on your skin so that way if you win an award, you're like the first black person, but it's not something to walk into the room and say, hey, I'm black and I'm Viviana.
Yeah.
Like it was something very much to like suppress, I feel like. And there were times that I feel like I wanted to do that, or wanted to like kind of be proud of it, but it just, a lot of different things surrounding it. But I really found myself just really secluding myself and isolating myself at the very beginning, just because I had so many emotions that were just undealt with. And then I remember I had gotten to a point when I remember specifically I was at my aunt's house and I had like seen the George Floyd video on my timeline, like my Instagram timeline, and like also like different stories like constantly. And I just remember that like I remember I clicked on it once and I think I heard like 2 seconds of it and immediately clicked off. And then later on was like, why do I keep running away from this? Like, why am I not sitting listening to this video? It's obviously popping up everywhere. Like, I need to understand what is going on. And I was like, I know I have a gist of it, but I need to know, like, actually, like, I need to watch the video. And even still, I still have not watched the entire video because I think I watched part of it and I don't remember where I stopped exactly, but I remember I just like burst into tears and like could not go on and just had so many questions of like, I completely understood why it was important for people to be sharing this and for people to see it and understand what was happening. But I know for me, I was like, how can people like watch this? Yeah. How can like people listen to this and like not feel this way? And I knew that it was very difficult for me, especially because a lot of my close friends at the time weren't black. And I mean, like me and Chris were still like really, really close friends. We've gotten closer since then. But I just like there wasn't anyone immediately I felt that I could go to and actually like talk about these feelings with. Also because with my family, we talk about these things, but we're very methodical, I would say. And also like at times it's just like us like kind of venting and getting that anger out and not really like working through the emotional aspect of it, like where it's like feelings of anger or sadness or pain, just kind of ranting to get it out instead of actually like kind of digging through it. So I remember I'd spent a lot of time just like digging through that like slowly, very, very slowly. And I honestly think probably like end of last semester is when I finally felt myself coming up out of that and actually being able to like carry it with me instead of like it bringing me down. But and the hardest part was too is that I was isolating myself from a lot of my friends. And there were times when they were just like, oh, you're just not answering your phone as much. Like you're always doing this, you don't respond to our text messages, you don't do this. And some of it was like me like just kind of not being the best friend. But then there were other times when I was like, I physically just don't have the energy to like conversate and kind of speak because I'm just dealing with so much. But at the time it was like, I don't know why I'm not talking to you. Yeah. I don't know why I can't like talk. And I will say Chris and Nasser were like my constants during that, watching like Drag Race every Friday. It was like the one thing that I was like, okay, I have people with me. I have like a time where I can kind of just like be and I don't have to carry this weight.
Yeah. It's crazy because with me, I was here because I had to be here because I was working. and I couldn't go home for some reason. The pandemic, and my mama didn't want to get, because it was like crazy at the very beginning of it. But just being here and being around, like I wasn't around any black people. It was all white people from the fraternity. And just when everything started happening, I was expecting everybody to immediately like no doubt, just be supporting and be on my side. But then you started seeing like actually people's true colors come out, and I'm like, oh, I thought I really knew y'all, and y'all are really for me or for my people.
Yeah.
And it was just really disheartening and kind of heartbreaking to lose two friends during this movement, and then just to not be at home, and then to have my mama always calling me, making sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
I got going home for Texas, once driving home when I got my car, I was like, a police car got behind me, and I was so scared that he was about to pull me over. And then I was like, and I have never been, and I was like, what is going on? And it was literally because I kept seeing literally people look just like me die.
Yeah.
And for people just to be around me that I thought were my friends to not really truly care, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. During that time, it just really made me get closer to God, because I was like, there has to be more to this. There has to be like something greater coming out of this, and I'm hoping for change. And just seeing like how all these things are falling into place right now, it's just like, okay, maybe, I mean, there was so many bad things that have happened, but maybe this was like for a reason, to open our eyes so that we can all see like, no, we can't be blind to this anymore. We have to step up and do something about it. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's very crazy. You talked about like losing friends, and when I felt like whenever everything started happening, Viviana can probably attest to this too, I was getting text messages from maybe a couple people and they were apologizing. They was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry if I ever said anything that was insensitive, and you know, I want to support you, and I'm here for you if you need to talk, or blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, thanks. I really appreciate it. But people, like, once I went home, not a single person, I can't even tell you, not a single person reached out to me. I had a best friend back home. I was like, hey, has anyone reached out to you? She was like, no. And I was like,
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
now I know how, like,
They
everybody
got a
else
black
feels.
square.
Yeah, I'm like,
But they have a black square. But it's
on
okay.
Instagram.
It's okay.
it's fine.
It's
It's
okay.
fine. It's totally fine.
But their story is popping. But okay,
Ridiculous.
okay.
And I'm
Man.
like, okay, I see how it is.
Yeah.
I thank you. I know my true friends are in college and who actually support me, and they're taking time out of their schedule to text me to check on me and saying, hey, I'm sorry if I ever said anything insensitive about you, about your culture, or anything, and I take fault. Like, if I did, I apologize. I'm here for you, and if you need anything, you call me, and we can get through this together. And I want to make sure, I want to learn more. And that's the thing, like, people are not willing to learn. And that would make me upset, because I was like, y'all are all, like, all for, you know, like, make America great again, and blah, 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 blah. And you have some black friends that you hang out with, but I was like, oh, okay.
But it doesn't go past
But
that.
it doesn't go past that.
Exactly.
Like, you didn't reach out. You didn't call. You didn't even, like, you can text. So, like, if you see them in passing, you can't even say, hey, how you doing? No. So I just think it's just so interesting how, like, you thought they were your friends, and then, like that.
And it's just like, I'm so understanding to other people's backgrounds, like where they come from. And it's just like, I'm actually truly caring, and y'all don't really care at all.
Exactly. And I would say on the, like, kind of thing with friends, I feel like it just gave me a really discerning eye to, like, see through the person.
Well,
Well, it's okay. Basically see through people's bullshit. You can leave it out if you want to. But basically gave me a good way to basically see through all of the crap that people be trying to, like, put in front of them.
Yes.
And also recognize some of the stuff in the past that people have done to me that I even, like, brushed off to the side. Was like, oh no, but they're still a good person. Oh no, but it's okay. It's okay. And one for me being like, no, that's actually not okay, and it's okay to point that out. And also, it's okay to cut that person off, to not, like, talk to them, to not do that. Because there are even people now that, I could go on and on about for days, but that I see posting on their story, that I see doing this, and even there was a problem, I don't know.
Leave out names.
I will leave out names. I will leave out names. I'm not thinking about who I'm thinking about.
okay.
No. Why I'm thinking about that, but I'm not going to bring that up. But there was a problem at one point with, say this. With care, we can cut this out if we really need to. If it really becomes a problem, we can cut it out. But there was a problem at one point with care because we had our red town hall, and it was, or which is racial and ethnic diversity. And the town hall came, and at one point we had everyone, at the beginning, like everyone's screens were turned off unless you were like a moderator or one of the guest speakers. Mm-hmm. So at the end they were like, everyone turn on their screens, like we want to see you. And you saw like different teachers, faculty, like a couple students, but those that were involved in OCU Care, it was mainly those within the Red Branch or who helped put that town hall together. And I was like, this is an exact like reflection of what it is in daily life, of like me having something important, whether it's like a recital or like even like Instagram posts or whatever it may be, just some things that are important to me. And clearly Black Lives Matter, those things, like literally my life that is important to
literally
me.
Marching for our lives. It's not
you're not there.
No.
And you don't show up, you don't care. But if I speak at a town hall, or if we're on this podcast, or I post a video of me crying, or whatever it may be,
singing.
Period. Oh my gosh, you're so good. Oh, hey queen. Oh, I love you. Oh my gosh, rooting for you. No, you're not. It's fake. You're trying to get a little tag. You don't know me. You have no idea what's going on in my life right now. And then I bring up certain things, and people are like, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me that? Because you never stopped to ask. Because you never once like waited for a minute to be like, how are you actually doing? Okay, do you need anything from me? And doing it consistently. Because that, I will say, is the thing that sticks around. Because there were people, and I have apologized for this many times, and the times that I wasn't responding to people, there were people who would consistently reach out. Chris, Nasser for sure, like constantly being the people that would continuously reach out to me and ask me how I was doing. Charlie at one point would even text me, and he was one of the people that apologized, and I gained a completely new respect for him because I couldn't even remember a time when I think that he made me fully uncomfortable. But I was like, the fact that you don't even know if you actually did, but are still reaching out to say, hey, I'm sorry if I did. And I need you to know that I genuinely care about you. Those are the people that I see as my real friends, not the person that popped up during that to say I'm sorry, and now, like, where are you? You'll pop up on my recital page to say I love you and you're doing great, and then you dip out again. You're not my friend. You are not my friend, and that means after I leave here, we're not staying in contact. Don't text me. Don't tell me you're coming to this show because, babe, I'm not going to talk to you.
Nope.
No, we just need true and real people in our lives. People that are truly supporting us. Because now, I mean, it's just now more than ever. Like, it's time to step up or just step aside. Because, I mean, I'm just so proud of us for sitting here, still being in college and doing what we're doing. Like, succeeding in everything that we're doing. And that's, I mean, honestly, all the we can talk about negative stuff all day, but the positive things are what matters the most. Just Black excellence, Black queens, Black kings. And we're doing this thing. We still going, we still striving, keeping God first. And I'm just so proud of us.
Me too.
I really am.
Me too.
I'm about to graduate. These are actually both of my littles.
He's not graduating.
He ain't leaving.
He's not going nowhere.
He's not leaving. He may think he is, but he's not.
Oh, really? Oh, really? And they're both so talented. They can sing their butts off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can all sing. If you are listening to this and if you ain't watching the video, you should go and watch the video because I'll put a link on there.
And if you are a casting director looking for Black actors, I got 3 right here for you.
Oh, amen. Yes. Amen. Is there anything else y'all want to tell some people? Y'all want to give them some inspiration? Maybe say something to young Black actors or musical theater majors, somebody going through college, and some advice you would offer them.
One thing I've learned, and this is like a recent situation that just happened, I'm not going to speak on it much, but if I had to tell some Black actors that are going through college right now and who are not seeing, they like think like, oh, I really want to be in this show and blah, 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 blah. There was one thing that I learned is like, you're not a commodity. And that I've really learned that. I was like, wow, that is perfect. I do not, in the future, I do not have to sit there and take racism for me to be heard, and finally, okay, you got to sit there and take it for a couple of years and then you'll have your turn. No, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
And you don't have to do that.
No.
Take a stand. Start your own. Like we were part of a group that started a care organization. Start a diversity inclusion.
Make your own lane.
Make your own lane. Do your own thing.
Period.
If like you're not getting to the shows, make your own show.
Period. Right there.
Right there. Make your own cabaret or something. Like have a study group. Have a group of people that you know are behind you and are with you, and you will all succeed together.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
I think for me, one, I fully love that and I fully agree with that. And I think for me, I would say to just not allow people to put you in their little box of what they think a black actor should be. Like, however you may identify, like male, female, they, them, she, him, her. I feel like that was the biggest thing that I struggled with my freshman year, is coming in and not, first of all, not sounding like how a black woman should sing.
Yeah, don't be judging us based off of how we talk.
No.
We all are different shapes, sizes, people.
Exactly.
Whole box of chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
But
like a bunch of chocolate.
I'm dead. I can't get away. But that was a very big thing for me, and so because I could not sing like this stereotypical black person could, I'm just gonna compare like to Jennifer Hudson because she's amazing. But because I did not sing like that and I sang more classical, they immediately were just like, okay, that's it. Classical, that's where you're gonna stay, that's where you're gonna be. And I feel like at one point in time weren't really investing in me the way that I was wanting them to, because I was like, I didn't come here just to be good at classical. I am doing music theater and vocal performance. There's still that whole other side. And I was actually talking with my voice teacher about this earlier this week, because there were specific teachers, not going to name names, but specific administrators who were kind of like, oh, she knows where her gifts are. Oh, she's just gonna stay over there. But like, when I would make those improvements, they would see them in all these other people, but would not see them in me.
That's ridiculous.
And they wouldn't acknowledge it, but I knew it was because of the color of my skin, because I could only fit into this one or that one. It could not be both, but everyone else could. So I would say, don't allow people to do that to you. Kind of going off of what Chris is saying, if people are going to do that to you, create your own lane.
Exactly.
Do that where you can do both, because you fully can. There have been so many before us that have done it, and go through our history. There, you can find them. There have been so many before who have done both. Therefore, you can do both, and you can also do things that have never been done before. Like, if you have those ideas, go for it. And if you're in an area where people aren't supporting those ideas and you really don't have people backing you up like that, go where they are.
Exactly.
Because then you will have a whole community of people willing to lay down their own lives to lift up yours.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah. And that's just speaking into my point. I was just going to say, know that you're enough, know that you're worthy, and don't settle for less. And also just, I honestly did, I was about to say I didn't, but I surrounded myself with people that looked like me or people that had the same values, and I would advise you to do that as well. Just don't, be you, and don't change yourself for nobody else. Your color of your skin is fine, and you're enough. You're enough is what I want to say. You're enough. Black is beautiful. You're beautiful. And also, we don't hate white people. We love you, know what I'm saying? We got white friends. But yeah, I just I would also wanted to say, if y'all had a chance to pick, would you still stay at a P.W.I, or would you want to go to an historically black college, HBCU? Because I always think about that. I'm like, dang, when I'm looking on stories, when I went to some freaking some step-ins, some probates, what are they called? Is that what they call?
Like step-in and like fraternities.
I'm just like, I want to do that. I really that. I literally joined this fraternity and I was like, y'all step. They were like, nah, what's that? I was like, oh.
What's that?
I was like, oh.
Quick question on the topic of fraternities. I was going to ask you this. Are you the only black guy in Atlanta?
Yes, that is actually, well, it's me and Bobby Trey, but that's actually something. Like, just being the token, I feel like I am the token black at the P.W.I, and that's something actually to really speak about. Is something that they're trying to change. I was actually supposed to go on all the recruitment trips and everything this year, but then COVID stopped it. Yeah. So I'm hoping that me, like, being in the ear and like actually pushing for stuff will get them to really do something, because I'm tired. Like, I should not have to be the only black person, even though it might give me advantage when I get to like showcases and like all this other stuff. But at the same time, it's just like, why do I have to be the only one that looks like me? And I feel like I have nobody. I mean, yeah, I can go to my friends, but I feel like I don't have.
It's just not always the same, because I was talking, who was I talking? I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and we literally ended up we had a black lunch basically, or black dinner.
If I had the choice of choosing or picking, I personally would stay at a predominantly white college, because I would like to be the person who was there to make change.
Yes.
I do not want to put myself in a box if I go to a historically black college. Nothing wrong with historically black colleges.
Nothing at all.
If you want to go to one, go to one.
Period.
And they're amazing.
You will thrive.
You will thrive. But I was like, if I want to be as successful that I think I will be in my future, and I want to be one of those persons that I want to be a leader, I want to make change, this is the place I want to make it. Because there are not many black leaders at our school. And we have like we have a couple organizations. Like I was part of Black Student Association. I was vice president, but now that's starting to dwindle because people are just not interested. I want to be one of the person like, you know, hey, we're here, and I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to make some change. So I would stay at a family like college.
I basically was gonna say the exact same thing because I will say the times that I have been around, like just solely like black people and black communities, I've always felt like so safe and so comfortable to be myself. And I will say it's been the thing to remind me that when I come back here, like who I am. And so I will say on the same thing, I would want to stay at a P.W.I. because I will say being here and being able to like notice the things that are bad have ignited a fire in me that I did not know was there.
Exactly.
And was like, I will say was not even there before everything happened with George Floyd. And now it's something that I am so incredibly passionate about and I know will like for sure be a part of my future. And that's not to say that I couldn't have discovered that at a historically or HBCU, like that's not at all, because I'm sure there have been a ton of people that feel the exact same way that I do. But I feel like it's just even more revved up because I'm around people that don't look like me and also don't sometimes believe the same things that I do, that it just pushes me even more to be like, no, like I need you to see this.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Look at us. Well educated, blessed, you know what I'm
Period.
saying?
Right there.
God is good. But yeah, y'all, we're going to wrap this thing up. I just wanted to come on here and give y'all an insight into what it's like being black going into P.W.I. and just in the world. And having my special guests on, my littles, Viviana and Chris. And it's been so great. Y'all want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Right. Thank you for tuning in and Talks with Darius, Deon. We'll see you later. All right?
Peace.
I'm done.
Yeah!